a continuation of the last suspended hearing with the calling of the roll of members. At this juncture, the Chair solicits the necessary motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the last hearing and for the approval of the same.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable Vica Gonzalez.
I move to dispense with the reading and approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
There is a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the last hearing and for the approval of the same. Do I hear a second? Hearing none, the motion is granted. The Chair will address the committee. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. As we resume these proceedings, there are three matters that I must address at the outset. Issues that have been repeatedly raised and in some cases misunderstood. First, ang una kong babanggitin, this notion that we are already conducting a trial and therefore exceeding our jurisdiction. May mga nagsasabi na ang ginagawa daw natin dito ay isang trial. At dahil trial daw ito, hindi raw natin ito trabaho, kundi trabaho ng Senado. Let us clear the air once and for all. Malinaw ang pagkakaiba ng tungkulin ng Kamara at ng Senado. The House initiates, the Senate decides. I will repeat, the House initiates, the Senate decides. Under the Constitution, the House has the exclusive power to initiate all cases of impeachment. Ang papel natin ay suriin at alamin kung may sapat na basehan para dalhin ang kaso sa Senado. The Senate, on the other hand, is the impeachment court. Sila ang naatasang tumanggap ng kaso at magpasya kung guilty or not guilty ang isang opisyal. Ngayon, may kanya-kanya tayong proseso para magampanan ang ating tungkulin. Kung anuman ang tawag sa prosesong ito, hearing, inquiry, evaluation, o kahit ano pa, hindi iyon ang mahalaga. Ang mahalaga, malinaw ang tungkulin at malinaw ang resulta. Sa atin dito sa Kamara, to initiate cases of impeachment. Sa kanila sa Senado, to try and decide all cases of impeachment. Wala pong agawan ng kapangyarihan. So let me be very clear. Ang ginagawa natin dito at hindi trial. Ang tanong lang natin, may sapat bang batayan para umusad ang proseso? This is merely the beginning, not the end of accountability mechanism. This committee, therefore, is not overstepping. We are not improvising. are not experimenting. We are simply following the rules. Our rules grounded in the Constitution. Hindi ito fishing expedition. Hindi ito bahala na si Batman. Hindi tayo nangangapa. Alam natin ang hinahanap natin. Kung may probable cause ba o wala. At malinaw sa atin, hindi natin inaagaw ang kapangyarihan ang gumagabay kundi beloved countrymen. Kung puro legal na usapin lang ito, sa Korte Suprema sana ibinigay ang kapangyarihan ito. Esteemed colleagues, beloved countrymen, kung teknikalidad ang importante sa husgado sana ibinigay ang kapangyarihan ito. Pero hindi. Ibinigay ito sa Kamara. Ibinigay ito sa atin dahil tayo ang kinatawan ng sambayanang Pilipino. As I said earlier, we have the exclusive power. Exclusive ay malinaw. Sa Kamara, nagsisimula ang impeachment process. Sa atin ang unang galaw. Sa atin ang direksyon. At gaya ng sabi ng mga kabataan, hawak natin ang beat. Hawak natin ang beat. At sa kapangyarihan ito, pananagutan sa tambayan ang dapat manaig. No other consideration must prevail except what is best for the country. Second, ito yung pangalawa na kailangan kong banggitin. There is this claim that the country has so many other problems and that this is a distraction. Tama naman. Marami tayong kinakaharap. Sobra. Mahal na gasolina at bilihin. Mababang sahod. Kakulangan sa serbisyo. At tila walang katapusang korupsyon. But let me ask, does the existence of many problems mean we should ignore one specific problem? The committee can perform its duty while government continues to function. Multitasking ang ating gobyerno. At higit sa lahat, sa pagkakaroon ng problema, hindi dahilan para umiwas. Hindi dahilan para hindi sumagot. Mas makabubuti pa nga na harapin na ito ngayon kaysa patagalin pa. Kung may sagot, ilabas na. Kung may paliwanag, ibigay na. Tandaan natin, may mga akusasyon dito na hindi naman bago. Last year pa ito. Ngunit ano ang ginawa ng Vice Presidente? Umiwas. Nagtago sa mga teknikalidad. Ang sabi nga, not just once, but twice. If we repeat this cycle, iwas, teknikalidad, sino ang makapagsasabi na hindi na naman tayo na, linawin na, tapusin na. At kapag nasagot, lahat tayo ay malilinawan. Because hearings like this work both ways. We can proceed, but remember, we can also dismiss. After we go through this process, and after we review the evidence, we will be asking ourselves, may probable cause ba o wala? Pwede nating ituloy, pero pwede rin nating ibasura. Kaya kung may katotohanang magpapawalang sala, mas lalong dapat itong marinig. Marami tayong problema. Totoo yan. Kaya kailangan itong harapin para umusad, para mabawasan, para matapos. Dahil ang problemang iniiwasan at tinatalikuran, lalong lumalaki. Para sugat na ayaw linisin, habang pinapatagal, lalong lumalala. Third, at ito yung panghuli na kailangan kong banggitin, we recognize that there are petitions now pending before the Honorable Supreme Court intended to stop these proceedings. Yes, there are petitions in the Honorable Supreme Court. One, filed by a group led by the lawyer of Pastor Kibuloy. Ang nagsasabing siya raw ang appointed son of God. Kung kaya nitong pigilan ang lindol, kaya rin ba nitong pigilan ang mandato ng konstitusyon? The second one, filed by the Vice President herself, as usual, represented by several lawyers, lampas 10 abogado. And the third one, filed by several individuals, mostly lawyers. Ang dami-dami namang abogado questioning the very core of our rules. And just yesterday, we received the fourth one. It was filed by Carpio and lawyers with the Regional Trial Court of Quezon City. Esteemed colleagues, beloved countrymen, total of 4 petitions na ang layon ay patigilin ang pagdinig na ito. Ang palagi nating sinasabi, public office is a public trust. Indeed, easier said than done. Ngunit, sa pagkahaba-haba ng mga ito, ng 4 na petitions na ito, let me tell you, wala ni isa na sumagot sa mga importanteng akusasyon laban sa Vice Presidente. Puro technicalities lamang ang tinalakay. Ang taong bayan ay Sinasabi din nila ang nag-refer daw ng impeachment na ito ay ang speaker lamang, hindi ang buong kamara. Napakasimple ng sagot. Yung 1 year bar, paulit-ulit na ito. Tandaan natin na lumipas na ang 1 taon at saka lamang muling nagkaroon ng impeachment process na ito. At tungkol sa referral, tandaan din natin na ang speaker ay hindi kumikilos ng mag-isa. Siya ay kumikilos bilang kinatawan ng buong kamara ayon sa ating mga patakaran. Rest assured that all these procedural questions will be addressed. Pero aminin natin, ang mga usapin ito ay sadyang teknikal at baka hindi masyadong maintindihan ng karaniwang mamamayan. At marahil, iyon ang layunin nila. Lunurin ang katotohanan sa ingay ng teknikalidad. Habang nagdedebate ang mga abogado sa kagalang-galang na Korte Suprema, ang taong bayan ay patuloy na nagtatanong, nasaan ang pera? Bakit ito nagastos ng ganun kabilis? May pananagutan ba talaga ang Vice Presidente? We will answer the lawyers in the Supreme Court, but we will answer the Filipino people here. Narito po ang proseso para linawin ang mga akusasyon. Dito natin ito dapat pag-usapan. Let us not forget that what is truly supreme is the Constitution. Malinaw ang sinasabi ng Konstitusyon. The House of Representatives has the exclusive power to initiate impeachment and the authority to determine its own rules. Hindi ito invento. Hindi ito kagustuhan ng iilan. Ito ay mandato ng Konstitusyon. Now, the Vice President says the petition in the Supreme Court is not meant to avoid the process, but to seek clarity. It is clarity that it is sought. Bakit dito? Dito ang clarificatory hearing. Dito dapat magpaliwanag kung handang umarap, dapat dito umarap. Matagal na nating naririnig. Handa raw. Handa saan? Sa press statement? Sa social media? Pero pagdating dito sa prosesong may saysay, nawawala. Hindi sapat ang sabihing handa. Kailangan magpakita. Kailangan sumagot. Kung walang kasalanan, simple lang. Magpakita, sumagot, hindi sa labas, kundi dito. In closing, let me stress, this process is not about personalities. It is about accountability. It is about responsibility. Ito ay panindigan para sa katunayan. Impeachment is the people's constitutional mechanism to hold public officials accountable. Tandaan natin, ito ay pagtukoy lamang kung may probable cause o wala. At bahagi ng prosesong ito ang pagdinig natin ngayon. Isang pagkakataon upang linawin ang mahalagang issue sa kasong ito. Inaasahan natin ngayon ang pagpapaliwanag ng mga ebidensya mula sa COA, sa NBI, PSA at marami pang ahensya. Inaasahan natin ang pagdalo ni Ramil Madriaga na sa kauna-unahang pagkakataon at sa isang public hearing ay makakapagpatunay sa kanyang salaysay. For the very first time, we hope to hear directly from Ramil Madriaga upang makatulong sa paglilinaw kung may batayan ba ang reklamo laban sa Vice Presidente. Uulitin ko po, hindi ito paghusga. Gusto lang nating maliwanagan. Gusto lang nating matiyak kung dapat bang umusad ang proseso. Our duty not to pass final judgment, but to clarify and in the process to seek the truth. Truth is rarely simple, and it is never convenient. We do not pause our search for it simply because, first, there are some procedural questions. Second, there are more pressing problems. And third, there are petitions before the Supreme Court. No to that. Guided by the Constitution and the will of the people, truth must be pursued regardless. It remains the foundation upon which justice and accountability stand. We must continue to follow it wherever it leads, guided not by fear, not by expedience, but by the voice of conscience and the trust of the nation. Sa huli, babalik tayo sa simula. Pagsuri natin ang pagabay sa atin. Hindi lamang batas, kundi tiwala ng taong bayan. Hindi lamang teknikalidad, kundi ang pananagutan. No other consideration must prevail except what is best for the country. Maraming salamat po. At this juncture, the Chair directs the Committee Secretary to call the case.
Hearing on the impeachment complaints against Vice President Sara C. Duterte, filed by Reverend Father Joe Zavalla and endorsed by Congressman Laila de Lima, and filed by Attorney G. Cabrera and endorsed by Representative.
Thank you, Sec. At this point, we would like to recognize the Honorable the endorser of the third impeachment complaint, otherwise known as the Zavalla et al. Impeachment complaint, for her manifestation.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, distinguished colleagues at sa ating mga kababayan. holding today's clarificatory hearing not on mere speculation, but on two verified complaints, the Sabale et al. And the Cabrera. Both duly filed, endorsed, and found by this committee to be sufficient in form, substance, and in grounds. Sabihin ko, hindi ito basta-bastang paratang dahil ang mga complaints na ito ay dumaan sa itinagdang proseso at nakitaan ng sapat na batayan upang dinggin ng committee ito at umabot sa stage na ito, which is the clarificatory hearing to determine probable cause. At sa puntong ito, hindi na po natin maaaring isang tabi ang mga aligasyon bilang nakakalamang. Hindi po ito gawa-gawa. Hindi po ito political harassment. Ito ay mga aligasyong may kalakip na ebidensya na nararapat suriin. At dito po papasok ang panunumpak ng isang lingkod bayan. Noong 2022, noong siya'y mahalal bilang pangalawang Pangulo, the Vice President swore that she will faithfully and conscientiously fulfill her duties as Vice President of the Philippines, preserve and defend the Constitution, execute its laws, do justice to every man, and consecrate herself to the service of the nation. Ang panunumpang ito ay hindi isang seremonya lamang. Ito ay isang malinaw na panata ng katapatan, integridad at pananagutan sa sambayanan. The cases before us are grounded on documents, audit findings, and a discernible pattern of transactions that raise serious constitutional questions. Malinaw ang focus natin sa unang bahagi ng pagdinig na ito to shed light on the use of confidential funds. Ayon sa Sabale et al. Complaint, may isang malinaw na narrative, a sequence of acts that identity, kulang ebidensya ng poor disbursement in accordance with standard guidelines. What emerging is not a simple irregularity, but a pattern that raises serious questions, not only on the use, but more importantly on the possible misuse and abuse of public funds. In relation to these ultimate facts, Madam Chair, there are certain which we need to clarify from the invited resource persons relating how VP Duterte, in conspiracy with Special Disbursement Officer Gina Acosta, Colonel Dennis Nolasco, Colonel Dante Lachica, and Ramil Matiaga, among others, committed a series of acts of malversation and a pattern of violations of relevant regulations pertinent to the use, disbursement, and liquidation of confidential funds. Kaya naman po, natin inimbitahan ang mga resource persons natin ngayong araw. Una, inimbitahan po natin si Attorney Cynthia Pantonal, the Notary Public, who notarized the affidavit dated November 29, 2025 of Mr. Ramil Madriaga, to present and identify the duly notarized affidavit of Mr. Madriaga attached as Annex A of both Sabalia et al. And the Cabrera complaints. Pangalawa, si Mr. Ramil Madriaga mismo, kaugnay sa kanyang affidavit as Annex A of both complaints. Pangatlo, si Ms. Marivic Pareja, an archives custodian in House of Representatives, who was requested to bring videos and transcripts pertaining to the hearings conducted by the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability. Pang-apat, representatives of the National Bureau of Investigation questioned Documents Division in relation to their previous examination of acknowledgement receipts used for the liquidation of confidential funds. Panglima, ang representative ng Philippine Statistics Authority in relation to the certification dated December 8, 2024, attached as Annex AA of the Sabalia et al. Complaint, and likewise attached as Annex Q of the Cabrera complaint, and the certification dated 11/2024, attached as Annex C of the Sabalia et al. Complaint, and likewise attached as Annex F of the Cabrera complaint. Pang-anim, si Attorney Gloria Camora, ang team leader ng Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Office ng Commission on Audit or COA or ICFA in relation to the submissions of OVP and DepEd to the COA relative to the use of confidential funds. Naimbitahan rin po si Attorney Michael Wesley Powa, who according to paragraph 269 of the Sabalia et al. Complaint testified before the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability that he had previously received envelopes directly from Vice President Sara Duterte. He is also the signatory to the Department of Education's reply to the Audit Observation Memorandum number 2024-015 dated February 1, 2024, submitted to the COA on 17 April 2024, attached as Annex Q to the Sabalia complaint. Malinaw po dapat sa ating lahat. Ang confidential funds na pinag-uusapan, may pinag-uusapan kay Vice President. Hindi mo impeach please dito sa because it's funny talking about. Kapag allegation ng pagpapagpondo, hindi po ito maling bagay. Dito simpleng technical or accounting issue or deficiencies documentary requirements. This is a matter of public knowledge. So, ay ito pinagkanagutan kung tayo. Issue and confident funds create iba pang equally important issues. That can an ultimate facts and bribery as explained in paragraphs 299 and 282 of the Sabalia complaint. 12, as explained in paragraphs 107 to 109, 285, 290 of the Sabalia et al. Complaint, and stabilization and threats, as explained in the paragraphs 136 to 141 and 281 to 284 of the Sabalia et al. Complaint. Ang mga ito po ay nangangailangan rin ng masusing pagsusuri ng komiteng ito. In relation to this, inimbitahan po natin ngayong araw ang mga sumusunod na resource persons. Representative ng Office of the Ombudsman, kaugnay sa Statements of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth or SALNs ng Vice Presidente. Representative of Internal Revenue, kaugnay sa mga BIR records ni Vice President Duterte ng kanyang asawa at mga negosyong konektado sa kanila. Representative of the Securities and Exchange Commission, kaugnay sa mga corporate documents ng mga negosyong konektado kay Vice President Duterte. And representative of the National Bureau of Investigation, kaugnay sa mga video containing the alleged threats, the plot to assassinate the President, the former Speaker, and the First Lady. Let us be clear. Sabi nga po ng ating chair, we are not here today to prejudge or to determine already the guilt or innocence of the respondent. Hindi po tayo narito upang agad magdeklara ng pagkakasala. We are here because the Constitution commands us to act. Ang ating tungkulin ngayon ay suriin kung mayroon bang probable cause upang ma-impeach si VP at itisin sa Senado bilang impeachment court. Malinaw po, narito tayo ngayon para alamin kung dapat bang umusad ang proseso ng pananagutan. Today is about accountability to the Filipino people. At kung ang mga complaints na nasa atin ngayon ay may sapat na bigat, kung ang mga alegasyon ay may sapat na patayan, hindi po natin maaaring baliwalain ang at the building about present constantly determine cost and future. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Honorable Lima. The current manifestation of the endorser of third impeachment complaint. At this juncture, we will be recognizing the endorser of the fourth impeachment complaint, the Cabrera impeachment complaint. We recognize therefore the Honorable Benny Abante.
Salamat po, Madam Chair. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Hindi lamang dito sa hearing na ito, libo-libo at mga milyong-milyong mga Pilipino. Kayo po nanonood sa atin. Hinihiling ko lamang na panoorin po natin ng mayroong kaalaman, hindi po bilang politiko. At anyway, gusto ko muling banggitin ang sinasabi ng ating salitang batas. Article 11, the accountability of public officers. Pinagit na po ito sa opening statement ng ating chairwoman. Yung nakalagay po sa section 1, napakahalaga nito, mga kaibigan. Nalagay, public office is a public trust. Dagan po, hindi lang po ito public trust, kundi it is a sacred trust. Kaya maaaring kulang yan sa ating constitution. Tinatawag ko ang constitution natin na sacred constitution, hindi holy constitution. Sapagkat kinakailangan baguhin pang iba. It is a human-made constitution. Subalit, napakahalaga ang sinabi. Public office is a public trust. Uulitin ko para malaman po ng taong bayan natin. Public office is a public trust. Ang section 2 po, sabi, the President, the Vice President, the members of the Supreme Court, the members of the Constitutional Commissions, and the Ombudsman may be removed from office. On what? On impeachment. For and conviction of culpable violation of the Constitution, treason, bribery, graft and corruption, other high crimes, or betrayal of public trust. Yun po ang nakalagay sa ating saligang batas. Kaya meron po tayong batayan dito sa ating committee hearing. Ano po? Sa section 3, the House of Representatives shall have the exclusive power. Tandaan po natin yung nakalagay sa Constitution. Exclusive power to initiate. Higit po ng ating magaling na chairwoman, not to decide, but to initiate all cases of impeachment. Exclusive power. Kaya po tayo narito. Dalawang konstitusyon ang pinapaniwalaan ko. Unang-una, ang tinatawag po sacred constitution na binasa ko lamang po ayon sa inyo. Ang pangalawang pinapaniwalaan ay ang divine constitution na mismo ang Diyos ang gumawa. And you take note, mga kaibigan. The law of Moses was actually delivered by Moses on the behest of God himself. Ibig sabihin, ang unang-unang nagbigay ng batas, walang iba kundi ang Diyos. Palagay ko naman, tayong lahat dito, walang pasubali na naniniwala sa Diyos. Hindi po ba? Now, ano po nakalagay sa divine constitution na tinatawag kong Biblia? Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Now, of course, sa amin, sa theology, pag pinag-uusapan ng theological knowledge, ang pinag-uusapan pong truth dito ang Panginoong Kristo. But common knowledge knowledge will tell us the truth can be anything that people should know. Because only the truth, when people know it, can the whole nation be set free. And those who are guilty can be penalized. Yun po nakalagay. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Naniniwala po ako in the judgment of God. Katulad na paniniwala ko in the judgment of human law. Naniniwala din po ako in the judgment of divine law. Ito po ang sinasabi, Romans 1:18. For the wrath of God, ang galit ng Diyos, is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. Nakikita niyo ang sinasabi ng Biblia, merong mga taong gawa ka ng katotohanan na ginagamit sa kalokohan. Oho. Yun ang ating sinasabi ngayon. Alright. Ngayon po ay gusto kong patuloy ang aking manifestation bilang endorser ng pang-apat na verified complaint na si Atty. Cabrera mismo ang nagsabi. Tungkulin ko na tiyakin na ang bawat detalye at ebidensya ay mailatag ng maayos sa harap ng komiting ito. Ang pakiusap ko lang po sa ating mga abogado, kasi hindi po ako abogado eh. Ang pakiusap ko lamang sa ating mga abogado, do not put loopholes in the law. Yun ang pakiusap ko. Huwag nating bigyan ng loopholes yung batas. At huwag nating maggamitin ng batas para makalusot tayo sa batas. Because I believe that the lawyers here believe in the Constitution. And they will always follow the rules of law. Yan ang aking paniniwala. Ngayon, mga kaibigan, I might not be a lawyer, Madam Chair, but I have logic. I have common sense. And my logic and my common sense tell me if there's something wrong or if there's something right. Now, gusto ko pong tiyakin sa inyo na ang bawat detalye at ebidensya ay mailatag ng maayos sa harap ng komiting ito. Wala po akong galit sa ating Vice President. Wala po akong personal na galit sa kanya. In fact, just to let you know and to let our people know that when she ran for Vice President, I supported her. Hindi lang mga ako support sa kanya, lahat ng aming mga churches supported the Vice President. Bakit? Naniniwala po kami sa kanyang ginagawa. So, balik dumating ang pagkakataong ito na dapat natin pag-usapan ito. And ito lang po ang gusto kong sabihin sa lahat. We are here committed to the issues at hand, not to any kind of personal conflict. Under Section 17 of the Rules of Procedure in impeachment proceedings, the rule of court applying as supplementary to these proceedings, jurisprudence and parliamentary practice dictate that we must examine na tinatawag po nating recital of facts to determine the pieces of evidence in support of this complaint under Section 5 of our impeachment rules. Itong ano po yung mga yan, mga kaibigan. The core allegation, beyond confidential na tinatawag na, gusto ko pong tukuyin ang sinabi ni Ramil Madriaga. Madriaga's testimony provides a chilling look into the movement of public funds that circumvented every known audit safeguard. Number one, direct instructions from the Vice President. Madriaga identifies himself as a close ally and leader, stating he was formally introduced to then Mayor Sara Duterte in 2018 and tasked with intelligence gathering. Hindi po yan invento. Nagalagay po yan sa affidavit ni Ramil Madriaga na aking hawak ngayon. Ipapakita ko itong affidavit na ito. Ito po nakalagay lahat. Lahat ng babanggitin ko dito tungkol kay Ramil Madriaga nakalagay sa kanyang affidavit. natanggap ko rin yung supplemental affidavit niya na ina-attest ang kanyang unang affidavit ito, mas makapal kaysa sa unang affidavit. Hindi ko po tutukan itong supplemental affidavit at subalit sa pakakapahintulutan ng ating Madam Chair, maaari ako din naman ay magtanong ng clarifying questions tungkol sa supplemental affidavit na ito. Ayan. Ano po yung direct instruction na nanggaling sa Vice President? Sinabi ni Madriaga, ini-identify niya ang kanyang sarili as a close ally and leader, is stating, he was formally introduced to then Mayor Sara Duterte in 2018 and tasked with what? Intelligence gathering. He claimed, sinabi niya, he formed the Inday Sara Duterte is my president. Short, isip. Yung pong isip group na ito at her direct instruction. Number 2, the duffel bags of cash. Yung po'y binanggit din naman ni Madriaga. Most importantly, Madriaga narrates that on December 2022, the same day the OVP encashed 125 million in confidential funds, he witnessed the transfer. Nakita niya ang pagkaka-transfer ng 4 na duffel bags, each containing between 33 million pesos to 35 million pesos. Yun po ang sinasabi ng kanyang affidavit. Number 3, the SM Mega Mall and Ombudsman deliveries. He details driving a white Vios. Pati yung anim ng kotse, binanggit niya. Pati yung kulay, binanggit niya. Filled with 80 million pesos in cash to the SM Mega Mall parking lot, leaving the keys on the tire for retrieval. He further alleged a similar drop-off at the Ombudsman parking compound. Number 4, the Pogo connection. Kung maalala po ninyo, sa Quadcom hearing po namin, tinundukan namin ang Pogo connection na yan. At dahilan po dyan, ngayon, bawal na lahat ng mga Pogo sa ating bansa. Madriaga alleges that the national campaign of ISIP Pilipinas was funded by Pogo operators and drug dealers. Yan ang sinabi niya. And that he personally picked up bags of cash at locations like the Grand Hyatt BGC and the Seda Hotel. Now, when it comes to justification for clarificatory question, for example, Madam Chair, Section 7 of our impeachment rules grants this committee the power to, and I quote, issue of for the attempts of and protection of documents. End of quote. If these allegations are true, lalagyan po ng if sapagkat hindi naman tayo nag-convict dito eh. If these allegations are true, we are looking at conversion of the public treasury into duffel bags for private distribution. This is why procedural right, they are the constitutional necessity. That we need to ask, bakit kailangang dumaan ang pera sa duffel bag? At karta keys kung legal ito. How can the office of the Vice President justify spending 125 million pesos in just 11 days in safe houses for payers that PSA says do not even exist? If there is nothing to hide, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen, if there is nothing to hide, Therefore, there is nothing to fear. Oh, from what others term to be fishing expedition. Di ba yun ang sabi ng iba? Fishing expedition. Why? Because the waters will come up empty. How can you have fishing expedition when there is no water itself to justify it? So, but if the water is murky, the people deserve to know what is swimming underneath. And that is the duty of this Committee on Justice hearing. All right. On the fishing division and mini trial claims, Madam Chair, may mga una na ang ginagawa natin ay isang fishing expedition o isang mini trial. Dito po, sa hearing na ito. Let's be clear. Ako, hindi ako abogado, pero naiintindihan kung ibig sabihin yan. Alright? Let's be clear. We are not here to convict. Sinabi na yan ni Madam Chair. Oh, we are here to determine a what? A threshold. To determine a threshold. This is a duty, not a trial. Ito ang tungkulin po ng committee ito. This is not a trial. Determination of probable cause is a constitutional mandate, not a legal instruction. Critics are confusing a trial with a threshold. Oh, hindi tayo nandito para hatulan ang Vice Presidente. Nandito tayo para tingnan kung may sapat na uso para patunayan may sugo. Oh, diba? Calling this a mini trial is a myth. This is constitutional accountability mechanism in action. Uulitin ko, ito pong hearing na ito is a constitutional accountability mechanism in action. Accountability, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen, is not fishing expedition. Kapag sinundan mo ang bakas ng pera ng bayan, ang tawag doon, kapag sinundan mo ang bakas ng pera ng bayan, ang tawag natin doon, oversight. If the Vice President's records are clear, a subpoena should be a welcome opportunity for justice. Not a reason for sana po, andito po ang ating Vice President. Katabi pa naman namin ni Congressman Laila. Yung maganda sana ang fellowship namin kayo. Ako kumustahan ko kami. Di ba? Ano po ang maaaring mangyari? Sapagkat di ko naman siya kaaway. You cannot claim a fishing expedition when the bait is specific allegations of fund misuse is already on. Nandun na mismo eh. Sa bukid. We are just doing our what? Tinatawag natin due diligence. Tinitiyak natin na kumpleto ang ebidensya kapag inihain natin sa Senado ang kaso dahil ang House ang tatayong taga-usig o prosecutor doon. Hindi po persecutor, kundi prosecutor. Now, qualifications of Ramil Madriaga. Madam Chair, kine-question po ito ng ilan. Let us talk about our resource persons according to his affidavit. Ramil Lagunoy Madriaga, a graduate of San Sebastian College and a former officer of the PSG and BPSPG. He is not a stranger. He was a close ally and leader who formed the easy movement at the VPS direct instruction. May mga humihiling na i-disqualify siya dahil sa mga kinakaharap na kaso. But under Rule 130 of the Rules of Court, a witness is qualified. Oh, kung gustong questionin ng abogado, questionin na dito. Oh, ano nakalagay? Sa Rule 130 of Rules of Court, a witness witness is qualified if they can perceive and make known their perception to others. It is ironic that critics demand the presumption of innocence for the Vice President while simultaneously trying to disqualify a witness based on unproven charges. Hindi ba naniniwala tayo kung hindi pa po yan kinonvict ng korte? Yan po'y suspect. A suspect is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Oo yan. Nabasa ko po yan. Naniniwala ang mga abogado dyan. Hindi po ba? Oo. Ito ha. Ito ang nakalagay dito. Kaya sabi ko, it is ironic that critics demand the presumption of innocence for the Vice President while simultaneously trying to disqualify the witness based on unproven charges. You cannot have it both ways. Si Vice President Sara, si Ramil Madriaga. Oo, ngayon, ito po, gusto ko rin sabihin, magkaiba ang to be a witness at credibility. Ano po pagkakaiba? Yung competency, pwede ba siyang tumistigo? The answer is legal yes. Oo. Yung credibility, kapani-paniwala ba siya? That is for this committee to weigh. Let him speak and let the evidence do the talking. Kaibigan, Madam Chair, hindi santo si Madriaga. Hindi naman santong hinahanap natin dito, sa hearing na ito. We are looking for the truth. We are not looking for a saint. History's most important whistleblowers are rarely individuals without a past. To block witnesses and suppress documents is not a defense of the law. It is a defense of secrets. Madam Chair, let me conclude with this. This committee is not being asked to convict the Vice President. We are being asked to look into the seriousness of the allegations against her. Ulitin ko po sa ating mga kabayan nanonood sa wikang Tagalog, hindi po ito task ng committee para ating gawing guilty ang ating Vice President. Ay lamang po meron ditong tungkulin upang tingnan ang seriousness ng mga allegations against her. Tayo po ba ang nagbigay ng allegations? Hindi po. Nandito ang mga witnesses. Oh. When public funds are alleged to have been converted into duffel bags of cash, the responsible response is not to shut our eyes, but to follow the money, examine the facts. Hindi ito fishing expedition. This is a constitutional oversight. This is accountability in action. Madam Chair, this proceeding, sabi nga niyo po, is not about personality. Sinabi niyo ulitin ko, it is about accountability. This hearing is not political theater. This is a constitutional duty. If the records are clean, kung malinis po ang record ng ating Vice President, then transparency will clean the air. But if there are irregularities, the Filipino people have the right to know. We cannot refuse to ask questions simply because the answers may be uncomfortable. Our duty at this stage is simple. Determine whether the smoke is real enough to warrant a full constitutional process. Calling this process, as I repeat, a mini trial is a convenient distraction. What we are doing is determining whether there is sufficient basis to proceed. Nothing more, nothing less. Kung may uso, tungkulin natin ang kung may suko. At kung walang tinatago, walang dapat ikatakot. We owe this not only to the Vice President, who deserves a fair process, but more importantly, we owe this to the Filipino people, whose money is at the heart of this allegation. Transparency is not persecution. Questions are not conviction. And accountability is not harassment. It is the lifeblood of a functioning democracy. I would like to remind everyone to the scriptures written in Luke 8:17. Sabi po ng Panginoong Jesucristo, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest. Neither anything hid that shall not be known and come. Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Abante. Both the manifestations of the Honorable Medima and the Honorable Abante will form part of the record of our today's proceeding. Before we proceed, may we know from the committee secretary whether the complainants are present in today's hearing. May we request the complainants to please stand up. Father Sabalia et al. For the third impeachment complaint. Let us place on record that the private complainants in the third impeachment complaint are present in today's hearing. Thank you. You may take your seat. May I request, if he's around, Attorney Cabrera to stand up if he's present in our proceeding. Attorney Cabrera. Let it be part of our record as well that the man standing with a mask is Attorney Cabrera, the complainant in the fourth impeachment complaint. Maraming salamat po. At this juncture, the Chair directs the Committee Secretary to call the roll of resource persons.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On behalf of the Committee on Justice, we would like to acknowledge the presence of the following resource persons. From the Office of the Ombudsman, Ombudsman Jesus Crispin C. Remulla. From the Bureau of Internal Revenue, BIR Commissioner Attorney Charlito Marty Mendoza. From the Commission on Audit.
May I request the resource persons to kindly stand up to be recognized as your names are called by the Committee Secretary. Please continue, Comsec.
From the Commission on Audit, Attorney Gloria A. Camora, State Auditor, Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Office. From the National Bureau of Investigation, NBI Director Attorney Melvin A. Matibag, Ms. Caroline J. Moldes Pitoy, and Mr. Antonio Magpojos. From the Philippine Statistics Authority, Assistant National Statistician Engineer Marisa B. Grande, PSA Director Attorney Eliezer E. Ambatali, Attorney Iris J. A. Tan, Registration Officer 5 Emilio C. Querubin Jr., and Special Investigator Sherwin S. Mariano. From the Legislative Information and Research Management Department of House of the Representatives, Director Mariting M. Pareja, Legislative Archives and Museum Management Service. Attorney Michael Wesley D. Poa, Counsel for Vice President. Attorney Cynthia Viñas Pantonal, Notary Public. And Mr. Ramil Lagunay Madriaga. That's all, Your Honor.
For the record, the Chair likewise direct the Committee Secretary to call Respondent Vice President. This is to know if she is present or not in our today's hearing. Comsec, please call Respondent Vice President.
The respondent was duly notified of today's scene, however, she's not present today.
Let it be part of our record that notice was served by the committee to Respondent Vice President, but at this time, she is not present in our hearing.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
The Honorable Dilima.
Top to say when the committee secretary was doing the roll call of the resource persons that she was referring to Attorney Michael Wesley Poa as counsel. And it has to be clarified. Does his appearance today is in his capacity as counsel for the respondent or merely his capacity then as a spokesperson? Of deathbed.
Honorable Dilema, before we address your concern, we will first administer the oath so that the response to you of Attorney Poa will form part of the records of our proceeding. So at this point, we direct the committee secretary to administer the oath to all our resource persons. We're requesting them to please stand up.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before this committee?
The oath has been administered. Thank you. Now we go back to the concern of the Honorable Dilema. We recognize Attorney Poa to please make a clarification as to what capacity you are appearing in today's proceeding.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, honorable members of the committee. Thank you for the question, Honorable Dilima. Based on the subpoena that I was furnished with, I am appearing as the former Undersecretary and Chief of Staff and spokesperson of the Department of Education and not the counsel of the Vice President. Your Honor.
Thank you for the clarification. Thank you.
With that, we wish to ask the resource persons with respect to the requested documents of this committee. Let me start with Attorney Cynthia Pantonal. You're recognized. Were you able to bring the affidavit of Ramil Madriaga?
Good morning, Madam Chair. I have the certification issued by the Office of the General Court of PHCP that the Matriata was duly entered in my notarial register as document number 267, page number 50, book number 9, series of 2025.
We direct the committee secretary to receive the document certification from the Regional Trial Court, Clerk of Court, to form part of the records of this proceeding. Thank you, Attorney Pantonal. Next is Ms. Pareja, Director 2 of Legislative Archives and Museum Management Service of the House of Representatives. Were you able to bring the documents described in the subpoena issued by this committee?
Madam Chair, we can confirm that we have in our possession the digital physical records of documents transmitted by the Committee Secretariat, particularly the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability on the following dates: September 18 and 25, October 17, November 5, 11, 20 and 25, December 9, all of 2024 relating to the confidential funds of the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education.
Thank you. With that, we likewise direct the committee secretary to receive both the digital and the documentary records of the hearings mentioned of the Committee on Good Government in 19th Congress with regards to the confidential fund of both the Department of Education and the Office of the Vice President. This will form part of the record of the proceeding of this impeachment case. Next is Attorney Melvin Matibag, our NBI Director. May we know if you were able to bring the document required in the subpoena?
The documents requested on this subpoenas 2025 to the Office of Premier Peace. Already upon his request, but also we're bringing the picture document also. That's regards to the question documents, and with me also are the documents in relation to the threat issue mentioned by Vice President Sara Duterte to Speaker Martin Romualdez, the First Lady, and all the documents here. Those are all certified original, Madam Chair.
Thank you. COMSEC, kindly receive all the documents being submitted by the NBI Director to form part of the records of our impeachment proceeding. Next is Miss Claire Mapa. Miss Claire Mapa, Undersecretary of the Philippine Statistics Authority. May we know the documents that you're bringing to this committee in compliance to the subpoena?
Madam Chair, compliance to the subpoena, we submitted today the original copies of the certifications pertaining to the PSA verification made on the certificate of life birth, certificate of marriage, and certificate of death on the several names of the list submitted under investigation, dated certification on December 8, 2024, and a certification dated December 11, 2024, including the manifestation signed by Undersecretary Claire Dennis S. Mapa.
Okay, so COMSEC kindly receive the documents being submitted by PSA to form part of the records of our today's proceeding. Last for subpoena Duces Teco is Attorney Gloria A. Camora from ICFAO of the Commission on Audit. May we know the documents that you are submitting, Attorney Camora?
Madam Chair, we have to take the documents for subject of subpoena system.
That pertains to, kindly describe.
Madam Chair, these are all the submissions by the OVP for violation of the liquidation of confidential funds for the fourth quarter of 2022, first quarter of 2023, second quarter of 2023, third quarter of 2023. Also, the submissions of the DepEd in relation to the liquidation of confidential funds for the first, second, and third quarters of 2023. And also, issuances of ROA in relation to the liquidation provided by the OBP and the DepEd, the responses of the OBP and the DepEd, as well as the resolutions issued by ROA.
Alright, so the committee secretary is likewise directed to receive the documents from Attorney Camora to form part of the records of our today's proceeding. In pursuit of an organized presentation of evidence, we will be following this order. First will be Attorney Cynthia Pantonal. This is for the guidance also of the justice members. Second is Mr. Ramil Madriaga. Third is Ms. Marivic M. Pareja. Fourth is Attorney Melvin Matibak. Fifth is Ms. Claire Dennis Mapa. Sixth is Attorney Gloria A. Camora. Seventh is Attorney Michael Wesley Ipoa. Eight is the Ombudsman. Nine is Attorney Francis Edrelin Lim of the Securities and Exchange Commission. And 10 is Attorney Charlido Martin R. Mendoza, Commissioner of the Bureau of Internal Revenue. In order not to waste time of people working in the government, let me advance that the capability of this committee to hear the witnesses will be until the time of Michael Poa only. So should the rest of the resource persons wish to be excused in today's hearing, particularly the Ombudsman, the SEC, and the BIR, the committee will favorably consider. With that, we're requesting the 7 first witnesses to stay for the clarificatory questions which will be raised as we go along. But before we proceed to that, we would like to recognize the Honorable Shel Jokno to manifest on the nature of the proceeding which we are holding today. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat sa mga nanonood at nakikinig. Tama po si Chair Luis Tro kanina. This is not a trial. We are not here as judges. Wala halos pinagkaiba ang gagawin natin bilang mga miyembro ng committee sa ginagawa ng isang prosecutor gawa ng preliminary investigation. I am speaking as an endorser. I'm not endorsing any of the impeachment complaints. I am speaking simply as a member of the committee para maging malinaw sa lahat, lalong-lalo na sa publiko, kung ano ba talaga ang nangyayari ngayong araw na ito. Just like in a preliminary investigation, we are here to inquire into the truth. And just like a prosecutor has the power to issue a subpoena in order to determine the truth, yun din po ang ginagawa ng ating Committee on Justice. Dalawa po ang layunin natin at sana ito yung maging klaro to everyone, including the respondent. Unang-una ay kailangan maprotektahan natin ang mga opisyal sa mga reklamong walang basehan. And I'm sure every member of the committee will not hesitate if we see that there is no evidence to support a complaint. At pangalawa, siguraduhin na hindi maaksa ang oras ng Senado kung uupo man sila bilang impeachment court. We are here as to fulfill our mandate under the Constitution to initiate a complaint if there is sufficient basis or evidence. Kaya nga, kailangan natin makita ngayon na sa mga darating na mga hearing kung may ebidensya at kung talagang kapanipaniwala po yan. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Jono. So, at this juncture, we officially start the presentation of our evidence. In the order the chair recently announced. Now open for clarificatory questions of the justice members. If I may be recognized. The Honorable Mica Gonzalez is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, maaari ko po bang magbigay ng ilang katanungan kay Attorney Cynthia Patonal?
Attorney Pantanal? Yes. Please address the question to the chair and please be advised to limit your questions to clarificatory questions. Remember, this is not a trial. This is merely a clarificatory hearing for the purpose of determining the existence of probable cause. Honorable Gonzalez, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attorney Pantonal, andito po kayo kaugnay sa affidavit o sinumpaang salaysay ni Mr. Ramil Madrid. Dala niyo po ba ang original o certified true copy ng sinumpaang salaysay ni Mr. Ramil Madriaga?
Nilala ko po ang certified true copy at ang certification from the Office of the Clerk of Court that the affidavit of PDL Madriaga was registered in my notarial.
So those pertains to the documents that you submitted already, Attorney Pantanan, both the original affidavit and the certification of the regional trial court. You may continue, Honorable Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attorney Pantonal, kinukumpirma mo rin po ba na ang original o certified true copy ng affidavit o sinumpang salaysay ni Mr. Ramil Madriaga sunod sa Section 2 of AM number 02-8-13 SC or 2004 Rules of Notarial Practice kung saan si Mr. Madriaga ay humarap sa iyo at pumirma sa kanyang sinumpaang salaysay?
Yes, he voluntarily sworn, subscribed, and sworn to before me this 5-page affidavit on November 29, 2025 at PJMP Camp Bagong Diwan, Belize.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That will be all.
Are there any other clarificatory questions for Attorney Pantanal?
Madam Chair, point of order.
The Honorable Advin Cola.
Madam Chair, may we request that all members and ex-officio members of the Committee on Justice be
furnished with the copies of the submissions of our witnesses. Thank you,
That's
Madam Chair.
correct. We are directing the committee secretary to furnish copy of the documents to all the justice members, including the ex officio members, and including as well respondent Vice President Sara Duterte. So ordered. The Honorable Dumogan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attorney Tunal, it's a mandatory duty of a notary public that before you notarize the document, you have to satisfy yourself that the document as indeed executed by the applicant was this complied with.
Your Honor.
At the time you notarize the document, did you observe any untoward?
With all due respect, Honorable Dumogan, I believe that your question is already a probing question. Please be reminded to confine your questions to clarificatory only.
Yes, Your Honor, because there's an accusation that the applicant is not actually the one who supplied. That's why it's an opportunity for the notary public, being the one to administer the oath, to testify that there was no sign.
Nonetheless, Honorable Dumogan, our resource person, they are not witness, they are resource persons,
Yes, Your Honor.
stated already that the document was executed in her presence.
Yes, Your Honor. And what I'm just asking the witness, Your Honor, is there was no sign of any untoward attitude of the applicant when she confronted.
I lament, but I have to prevent that kind of question, Honorable Dumogan, because that is a probing question which must be raised only during the stage of the trial.
All right, I submit.
Thank you. Are there any other members who wish to raise clarificatory questions to Attorney Pantonal? None? The Honorable Keith Flores.
Madam Chair, no other member who wishes to propound questions. Attorney Pantanal, may I move that Attorney Pantanal be excused from today's proceedings.
There is a motion to excuse Notary Public Attorney Pantonal. Do I hear a second? Is there any objection?
Madam Chair.
The Honorable Rufus Rodriguez.
Proceedings, let us now mark the exhibit as exhibit A complaint, so that we can refer to the complainant, to the affidavit in the course of our proceeding.
With all due
Exhibit A.
respect, Honorable Rodriguez, we are doing away with the marking of the documents, as the same should happen as well, only during the trial. So it is enough that the committee receive all the documents in compliance with the subpoena, form part of the records of our proceeding, but the marking should happen during the trial. With all due respect, Honorable Rodriguez.
Thank you. I always agree with the chairperson.
With that, let us rule on the motion. If there is no objection, the motion is granted. Attorney Pantonal is excused from this proceeding. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
The Honorable Terry Redon.
I would like to refer my clarificatory questions to Mr. Ramil Madriaga.
May we know from the committee secretary if Ramil Madriaga is already around? Comsec?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Madiaga is within the premises of the
He is within the premises.
under
Okay,
the
so,
custody of PJ and we are
okay.
in the house.
To give time to the Sergeant at Arms to bring Ramil Madriaga inside the People's Center before this committee, we are temporarily suspending the hearing. Please resume. May we inquire from the BJMP, the official custodian, if it is necessary that Ramil Madriaga, while inside this proceeding, is still in handcuff? May we know the protocol? BJMP, please.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Pwede po natin tatalin ngayon.
If your rule allows, please do so.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. May we direct the BJMP? Maybe he should just sit, excuse me, in between PSA and Attorney Camora. Please bear with us, Mr. Madriaga, in between PSA and Attorney Camora. So he will be seated along with the other resource persons. Let us leave the chair for the Vice President vacant because we are extending the opportunity to participate to her so long as we continue this proceeding. In between PSA and COA. May we direct the COMSEC to administer the oath to Mr. Ramil Madriaga. Mr. Madriaga, kindly stand up.
Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before this committee? Thank you.
With all due respect to the lawyer of Ramil Madriaga, Attorney Palad, may we request that you just the back of Ramil Madriaga. This is to be consistent with our rule that the participation of lawyer is limited only to giving advice to the resource persons or parties in this impeachment complaint. Please provide a chair at the back of Madriaga for Attorney Palad. The oath has been administered to Ramil Madriaga. Now we recognize the Honorable Terry Ridon to continue with his
Madam Chair,
the Honorable De Lima is recognized.
before the questioning of the Honorable Terry Limon, his representation wishes to make a disclosure.
You may proceed, Honorable De Lima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wish to inform this committee that sometime in November 2025, I received a letter dated November 17, 2025, a handwritten letter from the resource person, Ramil Madriaga. November 17, 2025, handwritten letter addressed to me and sent by Ramil Madriaga. This was through his counsel, Attorney Raimundo Palad. Now, when I received this, because the letter here says about his being unjustly accused and detained, and said that it is because he helped a group of farmers in Mariveles. May tinulungan daw po siyang grupo ng mga farmers ng Mariveles na mga biktima ng land grabbing. At tinuturo po niya si former spokesperson Harry Roque na nasa likod nito. At sabi niya, kahit yung una niyang kaso ng kidnapping, kasi dati na po siyang kinasuhan in 1997 ng kidnapping, ay nag-convict siya sa trial court pero na-acquit siya sa Supreme Court on appeal or on review. So nagpamihingi po siya ng tulong sa akin dito sa sulat na ito, which is handwritten. Sinabi rin po sa akin ni Attorney Palad na yung time na yon, I think it was later part of November or a few days after November 17, I don't exactly remember the time or the exact day, ay meron daw pong gagawin o ginagawa na sworn affidavit si Mr. Madriaga tungkol sa mga nalalaman niya tungkol kay Bibi Sara and also sa pamilya ng Duterte. Of course, I was curious, but I told Attorney Palad na gusto ko na munang makita yung sworn affidavit na yan tungkol sa sinasabing marami siyang alam tungkol sa kay Bibi Sara at ng pamilya Duterte. So true enough, I received this, an affidavit, a copy of the affidavit. And I didn't realize that this affidavit which I received then is also an original copy. I just realized it a few days ago when I was reviewing this. I was given pala, binigyan ko pala ako ng original copy ng affidavit. This was executed November 29, 2025, the contents of which are exactly the same as those attached as Annex A ng Sabalia et al. And Cabrera complaint. And then, lumabas na rin po ito sa social media after November 27. So naging lalo po ako curious and interested. So I decided to go and see him. And it happened in December 8, 2025. Duly recorded in the VJMP facility. So I talked to him. He was accompanied then, the lawyer, Attorney Palad, was also there. Ang pakay ko po ay para lang alam yung laman ng kanyang affidavit. Ang pakay ko was to clarify. Ang pakay ko nga parang naging devil's advocate po ako was asking probing and searching questions na para mag-test yung kanyang credibility. Now, wala po akong dinagdag sa affidavit na to. Wala po akong binago sa affidavit na to. Wala po akong dinikta kay Mr. Madriaga tungkol sa affidavit na to. Ang ginawa ko lang po Noong December 8, nagdagdag po kasi holiday po yan, Immaculate Conception. For 2 hours, I was there at the PJLB facility, as I said, fully recorded, merong CCTV. So that's all that I did, and that was the singular visit that I made to Mr. Madriaga. Hindi na po nasundan yan. So that was the first and last visit that I made to Mr. Madriaga. When of what I said. Tungkol lang po ng pagpadala niya ng handwritten letter, tsaka subsequently pagdala niya ng affidavit, copy ng affidavit sa akin to his counsel, at yung pagbisita ko sa kanya one time in December 8, 2025.
Is it your intention, Honorable Diliman, to submit the personal letter of Ramil Madriaga to this committee to form part of the records of this proceedings?
Yes, Madam Chair, only that I can simply give to the committee as this is the original 4-page letter.
So long as you confirm that the photocopy is an exact and faithful reproduction of the original.
Yes, Madam
We
Chair.
take note of that confirmation.
This is exactly the letter.
So may we confirm from Ramil Madriaga, just to conclude the disclosure of Honorable De Lima, having sent that letter and the original affidavit to Congresswoman De Lima, maaari ho ba namin kumpirmahin sa inyo ang inyong pagkapagpadala ng sulat at original affidavit kay Honorable De Lima? Sir Madriaga? Thank you. With that, we direct the committee secretary to receive the copy of the personal letter of Ramil Madriaga to Congresswoman De Lima to form part of the records of the proceeding in this case. We further direct the COMSEC to provide copy of the same to all the members of the Justice Committee, including the ex-officio, including our respondent. We shall now proceed to our clarificatory questions. Do you have other manifestation, Honorable De Lima? Are you done?
Yes, at the moment, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Now we go back to Honorable Ridon.
Yung po affidavit na pinakamit po ninyo, meron po kayong pirma dito.
Opo, Madam Chair.
So kayo po mismo yung pumirma sa affidavit.
Opo, Madam Chair.
Walang pumirma para sa inyo.
Opo, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Can we be specific, Congressman Ridon, because it appears that there are 2 affidavits already. The original consisting of 5 pages and the supplemental affidavit which was mentioned by the Honorable Abante.
Sige po, maglilinaw po tayo. So bukod po doon sa affidavit na pinirmahan ng pinili po ng kopya si Congresswoman De Lima, meron pa po ba kayong ibang mga dokumento o affidavit na pinirmahan Ginoong Madriaga?
Opo, bukod po dun sa November 29 na affidavit, ay meron pa po akong supplemental na sinumpang salaysay na may petsang April 11, 2026.
So ito po yung supplemental affidavit, bagong affidavit po ito.
Opo, Madam Chair.
Meron po ba kayong kopya ng supplemental affidavit?
Opo, sa abogado.
Madam Chair, kasi yung affidavit po ay nakalagay po sa records po ng komite. Ang supplemental affidavit po ay bagong affidavit, karagdagang affidavit po itong Madriaga. Tingin ko, mahalaga po na mabasa sa harap po ng komite na ito yung kakuan po ng supplemental affidavit para mag-form part ng records at syempre masumpaan din po na kay Ginoong Madriaga ang katotohanan po ng bagay. Madam Chair.
So there is a request for Madriaga to read his supplemental affidavit. Do you have with you the copy?
Opo, Madam Chair.
Yes, if there are no objections from the members, then we give the floor to read his supplemental affidavit. For the